Okay, so for my first video on this channel, what we're going to be talking about is top 5 skills to learn in order to survive a doomsday scenario. So the reason I have chosen a top 5 instead of, just saying all the important skills you need to learn is because that's unrealistic, because it's easier to say, know everything, because that's the best case scenario, to know as much as possible. But that doesn't give you guys a starting line, a realistic timeline, or just any way to know a starting point even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my opinion, top 5 best skills to learn for a doomsday survival scenario. That way you guys can know what skills to work on, what skills are more important to work on, and stuff like that. So 2 things before we begin. I want to say that even though you're going to have medics, you're going to have doctors, you're going to have whoever in your survival group, militia, whatever, that will know these skills much better than you will. This video is assuming you're trying to be one of those lone wolf type survivalists that want to do everything themselves, even though that's not realistic in the apocalypse. And also, everything we cover in this video will be taught throughout the course of this channel. Will be provide resources. We're not going to leave you guys to figure out these skills on your own. Number 5, agriculture, plant and animal farming. So the reason I picked number 5 for this is because even though it's a very important skill, technically you could get by with just fishing, probably not hunting, just with the population not even expecting the apocalypse. But depending on how, deadly it is, maybe even hunting as well. But you can get by without agriculture in all technicality. It's just not going to be as high of a quality of life, and it's going to give you a lower survival rate as a whole. Like every topic in this video, we are going to be covering them in multiple series for this channel in the future. However, for now, the only resources I have for you guys would be the Cattlemen's Association, FFA, Ag class in high school, stuff like that. Number 4, combat, hand-to-hand and marksmanship. So as far as combat goes, I think this is very important because unlike agriculture, you're almost certainly going to get into a fight or physical altercation at some point surviving. Whether that's with firearms or your fist, you gotta learn how to defend yourself. And this goes with, kind of hunting in a way, because if you know how to properly use and aim your firearm to defend yourself, you also know how to properly use and aim your firearm to kill an animal. As far as how to learn these skills for hand-to-hand, it's pretty obvious. Go take a martial arts class that's some kind of, even gyms a lot of times offer those. Look up some stuff. Practice sparring with your buddies. For guns, kind of similar. They offer classes for it. However, learn your proper firearm safety. Then go buy a gun and go practice shooting is really the easiest way. Practice unloading your firearm. Practice disassembling and reassembling your firearm. And there you go, you pretty much know what you need to know for this topic. Number 3, fitness, dietary, and strength training. So to most people, this may seem a little higher up than they expected. However, I think this fits here really nicely because fitness kind of helps with overall everything as far as survival goes. And if you're too unfit and too weak, you have virtually no chance of surviving without help. If you need to, let's say, rebuild society, and you can't lift heavy boards, you're screwed. If you can't go, hiking for water for, a long time because you don't have the muscular endurance in your legs and stuff like that, again, you're screwed. I'm not saying you should have abs. As a matter of fact, that's worse for survival because you don't have the same fat reserves as you need to go without food. But a certain level of fitness is almost a requirement for survival in a doomsday scenario. So the great thing about dietary is you can literally go check out a book from high school at the library about nutrition, or you can order one on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles or anything like that, even ebooks. And as far as strength training goes, there's so many fitness influencers out there, it's crazy. I recommend for the apocalypse specifically, training in parkour. I do, however, still recommend doing some kind of strength training, push-ups. Obviously the best for this is weightlifting, but not everyone has access to that. And in the apocalypse, you're probably not going to have access to that either. Number 2, first aid. So there's a lot of good websites for this, such as First Aid for Free and Deployed Medicine, although there's also a lot of hands-on classes and medical textbooks and stuff like that can teach you this. So this is a very easy skill to learn. I do recommend learning how to do it on adults and children if you have a family and are planning on surviving in a group with a family unit in it. Number 1. Wilderness survival for whichever biomes you are likely to face. So this should go without saying, but the rest of these skills are something that really helps you when stuff goes wrong. When something bad happens that may impede your survival chances. This is the one that pretty much you gotta be prepared to survive if nothing goes wrong. If everything goes exactly the best possible way in the Doomsday survival scenario, you still gotta know how to survive. So what I basically mean for the biomes is if you're expecting nuclear winter, you gotta know how to survive in a tundra. If you live near a forest and plan on staying near forests and grasslands, you gotta know how to survive in those biomes. So on for desert or wherever else. You gotta know how to survive. You gotta know which plants are edible near you, what animals live near you. You gotta know pretty much everything about the biome, the area you are in. You gotta know what venomous snakes, venomous spiders, just generally how to purify water, how to build fires, how to set up shelters, stuff like that. Without that, all these other skills are useless for the most part. Because it doesn't matter if you know first aid if you don't get injured. It doesn't matter if you know combat if you don't get into any fights. It doesn't really matter if you're fit if you can't survive even under an ideal scenario, and so on. So this is the number 1 most important skill you can learn. There's a lot of great ways to learn this. There's a lot of textbooks that go over edible plants. There's Boy Scouts. There's all kinds of stuff to learn this. There's a lot of resources out there for this. However, you got to figure out how to survive in your specific region of the world. And that's where I can't necessarily help you, because I don't know where you live. I don't know where you are expecting to survive at. But we will definitely cover different biomes on this channel, such as desert, forest. Obviously, tundra is a big one because of the possibility of nuclear winter. So stay tuned for that. But that was the top 5 most important survival skills for a Doomsday scenario. If you enjoy my content and look forward to more types of videos like this and further explanations on how to build these skills, again, I'm planning on making some kind of news-like podcast for serious events that's not connected to the mainstream media. Please subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment about any questions you have related to survival, whether it's Doomsday, general wilderness, whatever.